Likus, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the author of the upcoming book, 50 Fabulous and Able. None other than Miss Tina Coleman. Welcome, Miss Tina on Book 101 once again. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful to be with you. I am an author, speaker, and coach. I was a massage therapist for 20 years. My career was ended by a car accident. And so I reinvented myself in midlife to embrace the unknown, the adventure, and just to really live life on my own terms.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Tina. Thank you. And let's talk about your upcoming books. So let's start with the title. F able is a deliberately bold and reclaiming word. What does the word mean in the context of this book, and why is it essential to use it?
It really means to step into your confidence and to claim your identity and who you are unapologetically. Because as women, we are taught at a very young age to be nice, to share, to, not take too much, not take up too much space, not really talk too loud. And as we get into midlife, it's like, you know what? Let's do it. Like, let's really claim who we are. Let's live our life and, still be kind and generous and a wonderful person, but really be okay with taking up space and knowing who you are. And I think that's so important. And the book title was kind of divinely inspired. I didn't sit around trying to think it up. It came to me and I was like, oh, can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? Oh my goodness. Oh, and people have that reaction when I say it, like no matter where I'm at in the world, I say that title and they're like, oh my goodness, I want to read that book. So, you just kind of have to roll with it sometimes.
Interesting. And let's empower women all over the world through your book. So, Miss Tina, the phrase 50 fabulous and able feels like a direct challenge to a narrative of women become invisible after a certain age. And what is that intention?
It's really for women to claim their power because let's face it, men get older and oh, you get gray hair, you're distinguished, you're silver fox, you're sexy. When women turn 50 and we get gray hair, it's like, oh, she's old, she's over the hill, like, oh, she's washed up. And so this title really allows women to step into that power and be like, no, I'm 50 and I'm fabulous. I don't have to apologize for being 50. I don't have to apologize for having gray hair. And I'm still super sexy. It's just like, let's flip the script and claim it because let's face it, you're never going to be younger than you are right now. And midlife gives you that opportunity to really claim who you are, to realize, the mistakes and the adventures and the loves that you've had. And, we're at like a completely different place in our life. And it's time to get ready for the second half because I think it's so empowering. And that's why I wrote the book to inspire and empower.
Empowering indeed. So, how do you respond to someone who might find the title controversial or too confrontational?
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people with that perspective on my book. Trust me. You're
Mhm.
either going to love the title or you're going to hate it. There's not going to be any in between. And I think that's a really good thing. I think sometimes it's really good to have those polarizing statements so people kind of get out of that middle of the road, and being lukewarm about things. It's like, let's show some passion and some initiative and be like, have a conversation about something, and women turning 50 and really embracing that power and being sexy and being seen, it kind of throws some people off. And I think that's a good thing. Because we're all going to, God willing, we will all turn 50 and go further. Some people don't get that luxury. So I really think to be able to turn 50 is such a gift. And it's one that terrifies some of us. Like I was terrified of turning 50. That's why I wrote the book. I wanted to be inspired by it, not like, oh, you know?
Grumpy.
Yeah.
Definitely. And on redefining confidence and power, tell us, Miss Tina, how is the confidence you describe in this book different from the confidence you might have felt in your 20s or 30s? What makes it more potent?
You actually have substance to back it up with now. In your 20s and your 30s, you're kind of faking it, or
Yes.
you're just kind of like full of it's an ego kind of confidence. It's like, oh, I'm just so amazing and so wonderful. And, I can fit into my little black dress and go clubbing and I'm confident. By the time you hit 50, people have gotten married, divorced, had kids, gotten their education, changed jobs a few times. Like we've had to live through some stuff. So we've earned it by this time. We're not faking it anymore. It's like, this is who we are, and we're not going to apologize anymore.
Yes, this is who we are, people. Take it or leave it. Ah. You talk about redefining power. What does the power look and feel like for a woman over 50 compared to a traditional, often male defined version of power?
Oh my goodness. Well, when I think of male power, I kind of think of a guy living in the 1950s. We'll call him Steve. And Steve has everything done for him. He's got the wife doing everything. He's got, clean house, food on the table. Like he just goes to work and he can relax. And like the world is his kingdom. That's kind of what I think of when I think of male power. However, with female empowerment and being able to step into your power and claim that at this age, it's like we really had to work for it. And a lot of women have just gotten beaten down by life, by like relationships, divorces, having children, trying to be everything and do everything for everyone but themselves. So this is the time to be like, you know what? It's time to take care of me, time to have some self-care, time to actually like reflect on my life, figure out what I want instead of what everybody else wants for me, and to really claim that because we have gotten so lost living our lives and trying to help everybody else and be there for everybody else and do everything for everybody else. It's time to be like, you know what? We're doing it for us now. And when you really get to know yourself and you accept all parts of yourself, especially the parts that you might not like, it really helps you to step into that confidence and love who you are and just not have to worry what other people think of you or who you might upset.
Mm, definitely don't care what people say about you. People,
Exactly.
what are
Exactly.
the most pervasive myths about aging, sexuality, and desirability that you are trying to shatter with this book?
You're not sexy as a woman if you have gray hair. And I think I am super sexy. So,
Yes.
I that is one of the biggest things, especially when women hit midlife and go into menopause. There's a lot of things that get tied up in that, and that we actually have to deal with that men don't have to deal with. So it's like having gray hair and not being sexy, because I think really your attitude is what makes you sexy. And if you have gray hair, like you really hit the jackpot, you can make this whatever color you want. It's been pink, it's been purple, it's been blue. You can actually have fun with it instead of being afraid of it. But just really stepping into that power. And when women hit menopause and we have all different kinds of symptoms, there's over 30 different symptoms that we can have. It's really being able to care for yourself more and be able to give yourself that compassion, that love, that understanding, and that grace that we give other people all the time. Because you know what, when you wake up at 3 a.m. and you can't get back to sleep and you're grumpy the next day, you need a nap. You don't necessarily need another espresso. You need a nap, maybe a bath, maybe a little walk, maybe a meditation. But you really need to just care for yourself a little bit more. And I just call it adult puberty. Because we all went through puberty in different ways. Like boys' puberty was very different than girls' puberty when we were teenagers. All of a sudden, boys would like shoot up 6 feet tall overnight, and their voice would get really deep.
Mhm.
And then women, we just have like all the other body changes and the hormones and the emotions. So we kind of have that now. It's just our bodies are doing something different, so we need to embrace it.
Yes, definitely. For many, aging comes with a sense of freedom. How does setting the need for external validation become a superpower in this chapter of life?
You just don't have to care. And what's interesting is that there has been scientific research on this, and I may not get this exactly right, so please forgive me if I don't. but there is scientific research that has shown that the chemicals in the body that link a woman to her child, which I believe is oxytocin, it creates that maternal bond where we really care and we're trying to provide and keep the baby safe. Well, because we're going through menopause, the factory is shut down. Like, our body's not looking to produce any more children. And so we have less of that hormone. And what happens is that we just don't care as much. We're not programmed now to care what others think as much, to take care of others as much, or to, be in that light as much. We're actually engineered at this point in our lives, now that our bodies aren't trying to reproduce, it's time to step into our creativity and to really let that shine. To actually like go dancing, go, learn how to paint, draw, write a book, speak. Do things like that that involve the creativity that our bodies are using in other ways rather than reproducing. And so it's a really fun and exciting time. And in other cultures besides Western culture, turning 50 is actually seen as a milestone and celebrated, which is what I would really love for it to be.
On the personal journey, Miss Tina, can you share a pivotal moment in your own journey after turning 50? Where do you felt, damn, I'm fabulous and affable?
Oh my goodness. Wow, there's been so many moments. Um, when I first moved to Mexico in 2021, the first place I lived, so I wasn't quite 50, but close, was Zipolite, Mexico, and it is a clothing optional beach. So I would have the opportunity to walk my dogs on the beach naked every morning and evening. I would just wear a sarong down to the beach, and then as soon as we got to the beach, I would just take that off. There is nothing more freeing and fabulous than being in the ocean naked or walking on a public beach naked.
Yes.
And people there just don't care. Like, they're not there to ogle you or take pictures or, to harass you. It's just really freeing. But that was one of the best moments, I would have to say.
Interesting, Miss Tina. What was the hardest part of embracing this mindset? Was it internal
Uh,
struggle or dealing with the external explanation or expectations?
a lot of it is really internal. Well, the external came too, I will tell you that, because when I told friends and family I was moving to Mexico, they were like, you can't do that. Like, oh my gosh. Everybody has an opinion about your life and what they think you should be doing. And I have done so many things they did not think was appropriate for me to do, and I did them anyway, including moving to Mexico and living abroad and internationally and writing a book called 50 Fabulous Effable. So that there's definitely been external pushback, but internally, it's letting go of those parts of yourself that have been with you for so long. That scared inner child that is terrified that you're doing things that are not normal or seem safe. Being able to step outside those boxes and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this anyway. And it may or may not work and it might turn out differently, but I'm going to learn something along the way. And it's just like, you need to just live your life because you don't know how many days you have left. And that, after losing my parents and a lot of family members very, very suddenly, that's what inspired me to start traveling internationally at 45. And I'm like, life is just too short. It's like not everybody gets blessed to be this age. So I think it's really important to work through those inner demons as well as facing the external ones and really creating a life that you love and that you're passionate about. Because so many people stay stuck in the jobs that they hate, the marriages that they're not in love with anymore, or that despise their partners, and they let their kids control them, even though their kids are adults. It's time to reclaim your life and just really, be like, F it. We're going to do this anyway and we're going to have fun doing it. If I make a mistake, then I will figure it out because I'm a smart and empowered woman, you know?
Yes, indeed. People, life is too short. Seize your
Exactly.
day every now and then. Miss Tina, tell us on society and culture. Why do you think our culture is so obsessed with the youth and so resistant to seeing older women as vibrant, sexual, and powerful beings?
I know the Western culture is obsessed with youth and beauty. It absolutely is. And it's really an unhealthy obsession that we have because even from being at a very young age, girls are taught not to do certain things or to look a certain way, or you have to look like a Kardashian or you're not beautiful. You know, it's like you got to have the big boobs, the big butt, the big lips, the dark hair, all the makeup. And I am exhausted just looking at it because some of these girls, they're looking like they're 40 and they're in their 20s, because they put on so much makeup. And I'm like, you wonder why your skin's bad? It's because you're putting all this on your face. And that's not to say that you shouldn't make yourself look attractive and feel like you want to feel. But when you're doing it for external validation and to prove it to somebody else, or because you think that is the societal norms, like that's not healthy and it's not sustainable. That's why we have so many people that are very unhappy in the United States. That's why so many people are on all these medications to make themselves feel better because they're not truly in love with their life. They're not truly happy with who they are. And once you actually step into that and really own that and claim that and not worry about what other people think of you. Like, I hardly ever wear makeup, and I don't do my hair, obviously. But, I'm really friendly and I'm a generous person and I love people. So I get by and people adore me. So, just really focus on loving yourself, being your authentic self, and connecting with other people. And that's going to get you so much further than doing all this to your face or, everything else. Just love yourself.
Love yourself,
Yes,
people.
yes,
Love,
yes,
love, and pampers yourself.
yes.
How does the fabulous and affable philosophy push back against the notion that woman's value is tied to her fertility or youth?
Yes. Well, by the time you get to 50, that's really not an issue anymore because we can't reproduce anymore. And historically, it's been like that's when women are no longer seen as useful because we can't reproduce. And so I think it's really empowering that we have all these celebrities in their 50s that are stepping up and being like, no, that's not true. We are powerful, we are authentic, and we mean something and we deserve to have space and speak our mind. So it's like we have more value than just having children, which I think is so important because it used to be that women didn't have a choice in that matter, and now we do, at least in most parts of the world. So it's like being able to be chaperoned into a whole new era. And I really think that the Gen X women are really encouraging this. And we've got amazing people like Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Lopez, Sophia Vergara, and Halle Berry, and Jennifer Aniston. Like everyone's in their 50s now, and they all look amazing.
Yes.
So it's really a lot of freedom.
Lots of freedom indeed. And what role do you see other women playing in their upholding or dismantling these ageist stereotypes? How can we be better allies to each other?
That is something I really hope that as women we rise together because we do have all these female celebrities standing up and saying, hey, you know what? We're in menopause and we're in our 50s and we're still fabulous and we're going to be fabulous until we're like 80 or 90 because look at Cher. Cher's like in her 70s and she's still fabulous. And so it's like because we're no longer, um, fighting about how we look or nitpicking about how we look or fighting over the guy or whatever, we can actually rise in sisterhood and create that commonality and bring each other up and share our experiences, which actually does happen in menopause because a lot of women are sharing what they're going through. So rather than being like women can be at times, we're actually bonding over it. And one of my goals with this book is to create international co living spaces for women to travel because a lot of women don't feel safe traveling by themselves, but to create community where women can lift each other up, we can teach each other, coach each other, and get better with age.
Well, good luck for that
I
and good
know.
luck to your goals, Miss Tina. Looking forward for more success. And what would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be ah fashionable and of course an author like you?
Oh, you're so flattering. If women that want to be like me, one of the things that I think of is, will I regret this if I don't do it? Because life is short, and a lot of times we don't do things because we're like, oh, we're not being a good girl or a good person, or oh, can I do that? And as long as it's not illegal, immoral, you're not hurting anyone else or yourself. I say do it. I say go out there, like create a life you love, do the things that are bold, that are different, that people are gonna kind of look at you for, and try it. Because you know what, the worst thing that's going to happen is that it's not going to work out. You'll learn something along the way, and you can restart and regrow and do something different. But you know what, you're going to have some fun along the way and meet some interesting people. So I said go for it. I would much rather live with regretting the things that I have done than not doing the things and regretting not doing them.
Thank you for that advice, Miss Tina. And is this confidence something you fake, or yes, fake until you make it, or does it require a deeper internal excavation first?
I think there's a little bit of both, because for a lot, I was a very shy kid. I was very shy. I was bullied in school. I was bullied at home. I did not have a great childhood, so I had actually spent a lot of my life being extremely shy, and even getting on social media, I was like, "Ugh, I can't get on TikTok, I can't get on Instagram, like I don't want to be seen," and so it was really challenging for me. I did have to work through a lot of things to do that, but also it's taking that step and putting yourself out there and being visible and being seen, especially in the world today where everything is online. There's not a lot of confidentiality, or privacy anymore. But I had to make that change for myself and being like, yes, I really want to help women. I really want to help others. And if sharing my story and what I'm doing can help them like step into their own light and be visible and be seen, I think it's totally worth it. So there is that little bit of like, you kind of have to do it and kind of get over that fear and build that confidence as you go along. But then you also have to do that deep excavation work as well and figure out what it is that is blocking you, because it's different for all of us. We've all had different experiences, different lives, and things have affected us differently. So it's like figuring out what is it that is keeping you stuck or maybe not helping you to take that next step, or what are you afraid of to get out of your comfort zone? Like, what is that? And then just being willing to take those little baby steps to get to the place you want to go to. Because it's not going to happen overnight. Like it could for some people, but for other people, we have to take it little by little. And then, after a while, you will see that your path has unfolded and that you're in a completely different place and you are being the person that you really want to be.
Miss Tina, empowering answer for sure. I hope women out there will be empowered. How important is community or community finding your tribe or like-minded powerful women? Is it sustaining these to redefine confidence?
I think it really helps to have people around you or in your sphere that do understand who you are, and also that are wanting to go in the similar space that you're wanting to be in. So having your own tribe on, whether that's in person or online, is really valuable for people. But even just having one or two people in your corner that get you and that understand you and that understand where you want to go and support you can be a major, major benefit. So, depending, because some people like to be around a lot of people and be online and chatting all the time, and then some of us don't. And we just need like that little bit of support to really help us reach our next goal.
Yes, definitely. And Miss Tina, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season. Abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too.
Wow.
Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast Law 101 and Bible Verses 101, as well as my Mental Health 101, Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review, Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in it. second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Tina, finally, what is the ultimate message you want every single reader to take away after reading the last page of your book?
That if I can do it, and if I can go through all the things I've been through in my life, all the traumas, all the ups and downs, all the mistakes that I have made, and I can come out on the other side, so can you. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust me on that. Because there's always hope. You can always do anything that you want to do. You just actually have to put forth the effort to do it and have faith in yourself. Because I do believe the desires that are in our hearts are there for a reason, that we're all made for a specific reason, and that, enjoy the ride, because life is supposed to be fun.
Yes. Must be fun, 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 people, because life is too short. Miss
Yes.
Tina Coleman, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your upcoming book, 50 Fabulous and Able? So, Miss Tina, where do people can buy your book?
It will be available on Amazon in December, so you can definitely get it there. You can also look for it at beacons.ai/transform be courageous. And you connect with me on the different social medias at transform.be.courageous.
Yes, people support Miss Tina Coleman because if you support her for sure, more and more 50 fabulous and able to come. So, Miss Tina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me on, Daniel. It was so much fun. I really appreciate your time.
Yes, more to come, people. See you soon.